Lovely.
I'm recording.
Slusarenko.
Breakfast on deck. Oh, this is how it...
Breakfast. Bruv, it's nearly 2 o'clock.
Hard times out here, mate. Man's getting
What is that, an apple?
reduced.
49p, but it's an apple in a bag. Bruv, you know apples don't cost 49p.
You do know you can't buy apples in the garage.
Oh, okay. If you're getting it from the garage, I was going to say, why are you paying 49p?
Because I was running late, man. I had nowhere to get no scran, so I stopped at the garage, got some snacks, you know, banana, fruit, apple, water. Just hit myself in the face with a bottle. Coffee.
This guy buys his fruit from a garage. You're balling, bruv.
I don't buy
dog
my
coin's looking after you, innit? The dog coin.
The dog
Got you balling, bruv.
Someone needs to teach Dubl desperately, man. The guy said the dog coin.
He's getting fruit from a garage, bruv. That only rich people buy their fruit from a petrol garage.
Hey, I only put a little tiny investment into that Dogecoin, and it like quadrupled my peas, man. I
can't lie. I've got to big up Simon from Brazil, one of the listeners, right? As soon as he heard our podcast,
yeah, bro. Listen, Simon's not your friend.
What do you mean?
He messaged me and said that Dubl doesn't reply.
Fuck off, because I've been chatting to him, bro.
Fuck off.
You're a dickhead.
I'm being serious.
I don't care.
Is that the guy that lives in Brazil that listens to the pod?
Yeah, big up
Simon.
Bro, I've been chatting to him all week, and he jumped in my DMs and he was like, "Oh, bro," he was like, "I heard the latest podcast, and here's some tips. Here's some tips and stuff." And he gave me some tips on some crypto. I looked into it. Did some research for myself, and I'm like,
did you reply?
I think the advice is good to go. Yeah, of course I replied.
It must have been the first time then.
So bro, I jumped into the crypto game last week, and no bullshit.
Have you made some money already? Doubled
my money in a week.
Yes. What, on Dogecoin?
I've got three. I've got three different ones. Doge is doing the best. Doge has more than doubled.
Bro,
with the other two are bringing the average down because they're
Doge is on like 50. Doge is on like 50p a coin. When I bought it, it was like It was like 4p.
Yeah, crazy. So
I cashed out though, man, and now I'm regretting it.
No, see, I'm gonna do exactly what I planned to do, and what I said I would do before is, so come next week when it's up and there's a bit more in there, I'm putting the original money out and just letting the profit build. Got you.
Yeah, I hear that.
But bro, we're gonna have to do.
Let's not bore the life out of our listeners with crypto.
We're gonna have to do a separate episode for this, because I really do feel that in the insecurities of the DJing job, and where people are like, yeah, you need to have multiple income revenues and all of this. I agree. I honestly think if you do it right and think long term, this is a good game to play.
100. To
have that sneaky little revenue stream that doesn't need any attention. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of other stuff people don't get into because it's going to take the attention away from what they're trying to do creatively.
Real talk.
But I think getting an expert on and doing like proper,
if we get an expert on, because we're definitely not experts.
Absolutely not, bro. And I'm 7 days or probably even 6 days into crypto. Do you know what I mean? Like really, really brand new. But just off of one thing, I've managed to double the money that I put in, and it's wild. Like,
listen, that's just crypto, man. Like looking into stocks and stuff it's just mental. I've been studying it the last few weeks. The crypto stuff, I wasn't too fully clued up on, but I got a bit of a breakdown from one of the homies, man. So I just kind of tapped into that. But then over the last couple of weeks, I've been looking into this even the trading stuff's the same way, bro. You can just play it on the side, man, and just get that little extra income and just. I mean, you can play the long game and look for them long investments, or you can do the short-term stuff and just say, I don't know, there's something you want to purchase at the end of the month. You know what I mean? You can just
I think the gaps. The short-term stuff, it is more time-consuming, though, because you've got to have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, 100.
For me, like investments like this kind of stuff, that's long-term, bro. I'm looking to keep that money in there for
100.
10, 15 years. And potentially even like one of them has been like tipped for very good things in like 20 years time. Do you know what I mean? 20 years, this is going to be a solid thing. So that's like that's retirement fund shit. Do you know what I mean? That's stuff that's like going to buy my son his house and stuff like that. If it all goes to plan, it could all go to shit and go back to zero. But if that's the case, it won't matter because I will have pulled my original money back out by then.
Real talk.
It's just profit that's been lost. Anyway, yeah, blah, blah,
anyway,
blah. With the crypto finance talk.
Let's not be that guy. Like, let's not be that dude that sits on the timeline talking about crypto when they've made one investment and don't know anything about it.
If you'd invested in crypto Bitcoin 16 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, we've got a special guest today. Talk to me, bro. Who are we talking with today?
Today, this is actually our first ever music producer on the pod, right? Is it?
Definitely had a mouthful of drink. The first, we've had a couple of DJs that produce, but the first specific.
This guy is actually used to be
specialized.
He did do a bit of DJing actually, so bit of both. But yeah, today we have. He's a good friend of mine, to be fair. I've known this guy for a minute. We're going to break it down on the pod. He's one of the hottest producers in the UK right now for me. Like he is helping shape like the sound of Manchester. Like anybody that's kind of moving and shaking in the city at the minute, from H to Sammy, to Tunde. Like there's a list of people. We're going to go through them. Like this kid has pretty much been a part of helping contribute towards their sound. He's an absolute fucking genius when it comes to making music. Like this dude is just. He's got tech, mate, and the guy's called LiTek. So if you don't know about him, we're gonna break it down right now for you. But yeah, this dude is doing the most, man. He's such a gentleman as well. Here he is.
He's sat in the spaceship.
Look, the guy's got the little starlights on and everything. He's got no audio, has he? Is he there?
Hello.
Yo.
One sec. I just need to because you're not coming through my ears at the moment.
I forgot you had internet issues at your studio, innit?
Nah, I don't anymore, you know. I don't think I do anyway.
You look crisp.
Yeah, one sec.
Pause.
Right.
Pause. That's not even a pause, Dubl, man. Get in the bin. This guy.
What did man say? Pause.
Can you? The guy's trying to pause me because I said he looks good.
He gets on every episode, bro.
Lord have mercy on my soul.
He lives on the border.
How are we sounding, bro? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Crisp. Man, like LiTek in the building. How's Chicks, my guy?
Yeah, all good, man. Literally just got to the studio now, man. Had a late one yesterday, but yeah, we're back. We're active.
Is this early doors for you? Are you like me, bro? Because Dubl gets up at like 5 a.m. and then I'll roll to the studio at like 1 and I'll with my breakfast, be like, bro, breakfast at this time.
Nah. I went in bed yesterday at 5, roughly. So there we go.
Manchester. Wait, I'm figuring it out.
Saying? It must be a Manny thing.
Manchester's a different time zone. I've worked it out, bruv. You lot up there are on a different time zone. Because I'll get texts from Stylus morning and it'll be like 2 p.m. I'll call him. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? He's like, I'm just having breakfast. Like, bruv, it's 4:30 in the afternoon.
No.
Why? I just feel like I'm more productive in the evenings, man. And like, obviously, I'm not DJing out at the minute, but because I've been programmed for so many years doing late nights, I can't get out of it.
That's it, man.
I'm stuck in my ways. Plus, Dubl, you got a little one, so you've got responsibilities, man. Me and LiTek are out here. I hope I don't know if LiTek's got any kids. Unless he's keeping.
I hope not either, bro.
I'm keeping that on the down low. Anyway, we got LiTek on the pod today. Our very first music producer. Normally we talk to DJs. LiTek, we know you used to do a little bit of DJing and that as well, so you kind of fit in this umbrella. Like it's a perfect crossover for us to get you on, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. But I think we was meant to have you on a couple of weeks back, right? But this works, so we're nice. LiTek, yeah. This is Dubl, by the way. Dubl, this is LiTek. Don't think you two have met each other before, innit?
Nah. Good to finally meet you, broski. I've seen you online, innit, doing your thing and that. But yeah.
He wasn't. Let's not even go there today.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one anymore.
So what's been going on, Tech man? How's I know we obviously linked up at the studio a couple of weeks back and we chopped it up. But like what's been going on for you throughout lockdown? Like how's the last year been? It's kind of how we open up our pod, have a little bit of a catch up and that.
Yeah, man. I mean, to be honest with you, bro, it's just been like it was before lockdown, really. Studio every day. Nothing really changed in that regard. I mean, it was all weird and that, just not seeing everyone around. You know what I mean? Like my studio's underground. I'm literally like, underground.
It looks like you're underground, bro.
I know. Yeah, my room's a mess. This is why I've got to like dim the lights and that. Put a little.
Look at this guy.
But yeah, man. Like it's been all right, man. Like it took a bit of adjusting, like a little week or two and that. But yeah.
I was about to say with producers, bro, nothing like a lot of the producers I know, including yourself, most of you guys are lab rats anyway. So like nothing really changes, right? You're just still studio every day.
Literally, man. Literally. So, yeah. And plus, like, I don't know, sessions didn't really stop. Like there was definitely a moment where everything stopped for like a couple of weeks, the first lockdown when no one knew what was going on and that everyone is a bit like, just, yeah. And then, yeah, it was just all the same basically, man. So especially this last lockdown, like I don't know, I didn't even feel a lockdown happen because now everyone's like,
it got to a point no one cares anymore, innit? It's like, we're still working.
This is it. The second lockdown, like it doesn't feel like a lockdown, but it just feels like a bit surreal, like something is still going on. But it's not like how it felt. I mean, the first lockdown, it felt to me personally like the world was going to end. Like it just felt a bit. I remember do you remember that video that went round of the tanks right at the start of lockdown?
Yeah. Oh my God,
the military moving around everywhere. Yeah.
I remember seeing that and going to the missus like thinking, yo.
World War III about to happen.
The military are moving in, bro. But like this time around, I feel like everyone's just. It's kind of become. It's actually pretty scary, isn't it? When you think about it, it's become a way of life to just go in shops with your masks on, and like have to.
Mate, I kind of like it now. It keeps my chin nice and warm. Like it's almost like if I don't have it, I feel a bit uncomfortable. But
yo, when it's cold outside, bro, it's true, man. I remember I was out in Media City the other week and it was freezing Baltic. I've got my mask on and I just nice warm chin and that.
Just
whatever floats your boat.
Did it?
Bloody hell. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, I feel like this second lockdown, it's just kind of been. I don't know, man. It's felt a bit weird. Like for you, like you just said, nothing's really changed for producers. Obviously, for me and Dubl, we're normally out in the clubs, and that's still not even really back for us. But for you, man, it's kind of just still ticking over the same way. Like back at the start of lockdown, bro, what did you do in regards to like? Would you just carrying on producing solo? Because obviously you can't really link with artists, can't really maneuver sessions like too tough. Like, was it just a case of knuckling down on your own and staying busy?
Yeah, I mean, more time I'm on my own anyway. Like, if I'm doing a session with an artist, that's the only time where I'm actually with someone in there. But most of the time, like literally 95% of the time, I'm just by myself. And plus, like, the people that I work with, they're not really that bothered, to be fair. Like, so once the initial scare of like what's going on in the world like was over, it was just like, everyone was just kind of itching to just. Either shubs or just I wasn't really too asked about the shubs and that, but yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like an unwritten thing in music, in it, man. Like a lot of like artists and like even DJs as well, and like producers, music people, still kind of maneuvered a little bit or like pushed it a little bit. Like we've seen it on Instagram. We've seen bare artists moving around through lockdown. Like even in America, like the bigger artists, like the bigger artists, they were doing kind of the same
Yeah, I
thing.
think in America though, some of the places didn't really even lock down like that.
Yeah,
like, I'm pretty sure there was some states where it was just like, yeah, just crack on, just do whatever, just wear a face mask. Exactly. That was it. You see people in Walmart getting beaten up for not wearing a face mask, and that was the most extreme it got. Like they're back, bro. They're back to like fully clubs, the lot. I think
Texas has been open for a minute. Like I see Danny West in one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in, and like he'll be posting videos. Strip clubs are back open, pool parties. Like this is from months ago as well. So yeah, I feel like in America,
Miami's been open as well.
Yeah, Who Kids always posting videos, bro, and he's just just everywhere, turn ups everywhere.
I feel like we definitely got the shit end of the stick here, isn't it?
100%.
Definitely. I feel like we've come out like in the current situation. I feel like UK is actually up there with like the best places to be in right now, innit? Because of the vaccines. I don't even know, to be honest with you, what's going on. I've kind of just learned to just blanket it all out at the moment.
I was just about to say, do you stay tapped into stuff like that, Tech? Like, do you watch the news, like this whole virus thing? Do you buy into it, or are you like a conspiracy theorist guy, or you're not really, you're just kind of just cracking on and keeping your head down? I feel like that's your vibe, innit? I feel like that's your vibe. You're just keeping your head down and keeping busy.
You can't really entertain those things for too long, man, because it just sends you west. Because I mean, obviously, as I say, like at the start when no one knew what was going on, I think everyone was keen to know like what, to get down to the bottom of it. But really, man, you just gotta be like, right, okay, whatever, innit? You just gotta get on with life, adjust, man. Adapt.
Has anyone had the vaccine on here yet? Has anyone had it? Have you had it, Dubs? Tech, nah.
Come on, bro. I'm not.
Someone ain't touching. Someone's not touching none of that.
Just last week, I was telling you about how I don't even wear a face mask, bro. Like,
yeah, fair.
Yeah, I'm not on them things.
I've had Rona though, man. You've had it in it, Dubs. We've all had it. Have you had it, Tech?
Yeah. Well, I think I did. Yeah, I lost my sense of smell for a week. Yeah.
There you go. We've all been Rona'd up, mate. Yeah. We've all got something in common.
I maybe had it, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I did have it. But if I didn't have it, I've been bopping around absolutely perfectly fine. Touch wood.
Spreading it and that.
I know this guy. Double's just a carrier, man.
You see when the whole of Kent got put on like tier 1 lockdown or whatever it was, is because a week before I went for a run, and that was it.
The guy just ran through Kent, just spreading the vibes, you know.
This guy. So, right, I'm going out today.
Fucking hell.
Infected the county.
Right, yo, LiTek, man. So, for any of the listeners that are checking in, we did a bit of an intro before we brought you in anyway. But like, who is LiTek, man, and what do you actually do for the people that are tapping in for the first time and maybe are just becoming acquainted with you as a producer? Like, we've known each other for time, innit? We go way back. But for the newbies maybe checking in, like, who is Tech? What do you do? Tell us.
To put it simply, I'm just a producer, engineer. That's about it, really. Produce mainly for artists. I can DJ as well, but that's taking a bit of a back burner right now. I'm enjoying being in the studio. I'm enjoying writing music. Not really bound by any genre, but just.
Was the production always something you wanted to do, bro? When you was like, because obviously you're not from the UK originally.
Well, I moved to the UK when I was 6. I was born in Ukraine, and then football was kind of the thing, as it is really with a lot of kids and that.
In fact, before you go any further, the football thing, I read something on. Did you play at a pretty good? Was you playing at a pretty good level?
Yeah. I played for United for years, man.
Huh?
Yeah. That was football was a big part of my life.
You played for United?
Yeah.
What?
I've told you this time. Or are you doing this for the podcast?
What? This accelerated quick.
I was doing my research last night. I knew most of it anyway, but then I come across this thing about he used to do professional football for. Here we go. Talk to us about that, bro.
That was basically just like my life, I guess. Like, my family kind of moved over here, not necessarily for me to like play football and that.
Okay.
But I think just in search of a better life and whatnot and whatever. Not like we were living badly in like Russia and Ukraine, but I think it was just to do like my dad's work. I don't know, and I was just a kid back then. But we ended up in the UK, and then my granddad was a footballer. My dad was a footballer. Obviously not at any like big level in that in Ukraine. I think they were both keepers as well. So it's kind of like all my dad and my knew. So naturally, just went into football. And then it's just kind of like pretty much every single day training, before school, after school, militant sort of regime for years and years and years and
Tech
years
is
and
a
years,
now is
up until I was about 15.
Go on, sorry. No,
Huh?
go on. No, I was gonna say, is this where you got the name LiTek from, or what? Was you a techie baller?
Well, that technique, if I do say so myself, was like the one thing that was like my thing, like left foot, right foot. You get it?
What? Right, bro.
But
Tech,
yeah,
I had no idea you was a baller like that, bro. My days. You still play?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I stopped playing, I just stopped playing for like a few years. And then I started playing again. Started playing five-a-side, and then, bro, like imagine I played professional football for so many years, day in, day out, and then didn't have a serious injury this whole time. You know, I was always kind of programmed to just, you know, walk it off, run it off. You know what I mean? Minor, you get knocked, you get up, you get me? One of them. And then started playing five-a-side, bro. And then like 4 or 5 weeks in, starting to get fit. You know, bearing in mind I've not touched the ball for years now. Yeah, obviously the tech is kind of still there because it just stays with you.
It's like riding a bike.
Muscle memory.
Exactly. But the fitness was just obviously out the window. So yeah, it took me like a few weeks to get back into it. But once that came back, you know, I fully enjoyed started playing again. And then on like the 6th week, bro, I got like I went in to block a shot basically, and then it hit like my foot, and like I went over on my ankle basically. Felt like a sharp pain. Thought, you know, I'm just gonna run it off, and then it was kind of hurting, but I don't know. It still felt like I could run it off, and then I got the ball, played like a pass with the outside of my foot, without even kind of thinking. To get me, and I think it did something worse to whatever was already going on. And then yeah, man, I've been hobbling. Obviously now it's better now, but like I was hobbling for like a good year, man. And it was,
bro, I think you better go to the hospital, G. I hope you got that looked at. My mum was saying I'm still hobbling today. I thought he was gonna say.
No. I didn't even go hospital, bro, because yeah, obviously I probably would have gone to hospital, but this was like when Corona was just hitting. Like this was the scary bits of Corona.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Going hospital was a myth back then.
Yeah, you know, it's not even like I was scared to go hospital because there was Corona patients. It was just because, you know, this is when the hospitals were like over flooding with patients, and I was just like, I'm not sitting in there for hours.
I hear that. I hear you.
Like, oh, just rest it or whatever. So I just thought, yeah.
With such an investment in football then at such a young age, like where did the music sit alongside the football? Was that there before, or was it something that came after? Like, was you tapped into music from young, like back in Ukraine and stuff growing up, or was that something that kind of just progressed as you got older?
Well, it was always something that was part of me. I think, like, obviously as I grew older and that, and my parents, like, you know, whenever you have them little chats and that, there's like, you know, that they always used to tell me, oh, you know, when you were young, you'd always be like glued to the telly when there was something musical happening. And like, you know, whenever any bit of music would come on, I could start moving around and that. And there was always like
a music in front of the box and that.
Yeah, just in the that.
Come on.
But yeah, I think I just naturally like developed an interest for it, and then yeah, like when Sky came about, you know, the telly and that, like, you know, when I was just browsing and that when I'd be eating, and I always telly when I'm eating, and then I found music channels, and then I naturally just like started watching music channels just because I just wanted to, you know what I mean? I even remember when I came to the UK, obviously I barely spoke English. I was with my granddad, he didn't speak a word of English. So like we were kind of just surviving and that. And then one day I was in Tesco's or whatever. I had no idea what this was. I just see this like now, I think it was like now 40 something, now 49 CD. Obviously now I know it's like some big thing. But yeah. Am I frozen? Oh no, now we're good.
Nah, you're all right. You're all right. Signal's a bit choppy, but we can still hear you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I got that, and I remember hearing Eminem "Without Me" on there, and that just blew my head off. And then I don't know. From then on, like, it just naturally just the interest. I know, yeah. Because obviously, like, you know, as a kid, especially, like, I'm, you know, he was a bit. I'd never been exposed to like any kind of artistry and like, you know, anything outside the box a little bit. So I'm seeing this I didn't even know he was white or black or whatever. To get me at that point, I'm just hearing this weird tone of voice and that like he was going sick over the beat. I'm thinking, what is this? So yeah,
it's mad the way you break it down, bro. You know, because normally when you speak to, sorry, go on. I think you're delayed over there. My bad.
No.
No, I was gonna say normally when you speak to producers and you ask them like about music growing up, it's normally like a parental thing. You know what I mean? The mum and dad used to play this in the yard, and like the way that you've explained it there, you kind of gone about your own business to tap into it, and like anything music on the telly, you just kind of tap into it that way. So it kind of sounds like you just gravitated towards it like naturally without having like that family influence, if you know what I'm saying. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, there was never. I don't think my family's not musical. You know, like my auntie and my grandma, like my dad, like everyone enjoys music, but because football was such like a focus, I think maybe music was seen as a distraction almost. You know what I mean? Whereas I don't know. It was seen as a distraction basically. So especially when I fully started developing an interest in or developing a curiosity before an interest, like into how these things were made, and that I had to kind of almost do it in secret. Do you know what I mean? I had to get my boy who like was in Parswood and he was doing music tech, and he had this like copy of Reason propeller heads like software, and then he got his teacher to like burn a copy for him. He like gave it me, and I was just I don't know everything. This was like just before YouTube, or just as YouTube was happening, like just as YouTube was kicking off, thankfully, because YouTube's taught me everything in life. You know what I mean?
Mad.
Not even just the music.
Real.
But yeah.
It's real talk, bro. It's true stories.
So was there any kind of music collection that came over with your parents from the Ukraine? Or was it once you got here, was it all just UK and US music that was listened to in the house?
It was mainly what I got my hands on and what I saw on telly in the UK and the US. Because it was mainly US music as well, man, because like on Sky I'd be watching like Kiss and MTV every now and again, but Kiss I remember just for some reason was just popping off because I don't know, I just didn't like the music. So there was like a massive like gap in my knowledge of like grime and like like bassline back in the day that I had to like catch on like after. It was all like it was just all weird how I like caught on to music. But you know what, like now I'm feeling it more than ever, like where I was exposed to so many weird sounds and that that it's kind of just reflected in my music, I think. Anyway, I don't know, but yeah.
No, bro, do you know what? Yeah, I was writing some notes down last night, and like your style, like the way you just explained it, like it makes complete sense because I feel like you're kind of like a production chameleon. You can, bro, because you can like seamlessly tap into different genres, and it's like it doesn't feel out of place, if you know what I'm saying. Like some producers, they have their unique sound, and like when it's them. But I feel like with you, you've got so many different pockets. Like I remember you doing the crazy house stuff, then like the techie stuff, and then now you've got like this new sound that you've been like working with the Manny artists, and that's all like the Sammy bits and bobs, and then like I'm sure you've sent me some like reggae influence bits before. Like that's just crazy, like the way that you can just seamlessly like tap in. Like, do you listen to all these genres of music? Like, are you just completely open when it comes to what you kind of take in?
Yeah. Like, it's whatever I find and sort of gravitate towards. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of like old school classics, like just like from back in the day, just like blues and like old school R&B and soul music that I really missed out on like fully because it's just I don't know. It was never. I never found it, and my parents obviously never listened to it. And yeah, like it's just. But whatever I do find, yeah, I'm very open in terms of like my Spotify playlist is just an absolute.
Is it? I want to see what this guy's got on his playlist, man. I bet it's some madness going on.
You know what though? I think some of the best producers ever have like the most eclectic music collection and weirdest music. Like, no, you can't even call it weird, but like widest music taste. Especially like even in rap and hip hop. If you listen to some of the greats, listen to like Timbaland, even like Dre, where the places, and Kanye's a great example, the places where they grab their samples from are sometimes the most obscure songs. Like,
Trust me.
Crazy hearing, like, you know, I geek out on it sometimes, and I've got a bunch of CDs full of just like samples that producers have used, and hearing the original songs and finding that little, there might just be like a 1 second, one tiny little bit of a whole song that they've used and flip the sample into like a hip hop classic. It's wild, man.
Have you heard the Lemon Pepper freestyle sample, the original?
No, I don't
bro.
think
So. Listen, you wait. The way they flip. There's a video went viral on Twitter. You must have seen these sample little visuals that they're doing on TikTok and stuff now.
About to say,
bro,
like,
it's like some old country, skippy, happy, weird song, man. And then it's Pepper Freestyle. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
One of Drake's biggest songs samples. Do you remember Donkey Kong? The computer.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I saw one of these. I saw a video the other day. The guy, I can't remember who it was. It wasn't a producer. It was just a DJ breaking down how to do a transition with it. And he plays a clip, and it's a sample from like one energetic part of the Donkey Kong video game.
Mad.
And then they sampled it and showed you pitch it down a couple of semitones or whatever, and then just chuck a beat on, and then Drake's there, and that's the song. Like, yeah, it's wild, bruv. Like,
that blew my mind, honestly, because you'd never. Sometimes you can kind of tell, okay, right, this is a sample. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of Kanye stuff is clearly a sample.
Yeah.
But like that what you're talking about, that track, I can't remember what track it is, but it's just like I don't know, man. Like, I was blown away by that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the song now.
That's maybe why I wish I was exposed to a bit more music, like growing up, because it would have kind of, it's like more tools. Do you know what I mean? Like,
got you.
Like, to draw for, and to like, I didn't even realize that people sampled, bro. Like, growing up listening to like Dre and Timbaland, like they're like some of my biggest influences in that. And then I can't lie, when I first discovered that a lot of these bands just sample things and just throw a drum beat over it, not to take anything away from them, and that, it still takes a lot of skill. Ooh. But like, I was like, what? I thought these bands sat there composing,
doing
and
the
all
whole
that
thing from scratch.
Yeah. But you know,
it's a bit mad when you put it like that, because even saying for me growing up, like when you're young, you're not even thinking about the concept of resampling songs. Like, you're not even thinking that far in your head when you're younger. Right. Do you know what I mean? So to like pick, and you see people online now, sampling's cheating, and it's, you can't, like, what's your take on resampling records?
Like it's a big part of the game, man.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to be super against like using loops as well. Like, a big part of production in today's day and age is bedroom producers mainly, like the sick kids all over the world, 14, 15, sometimes even younger, man, just sat there and just composing little pieces of music, sending it to these guys that are constantly in the studio with big names and getting placements literally at 14 years old. And it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, it is a beautiful thing.
It's crazy how that works as well, isn't it? Because they're just sending loops and melodies and stuff off. And then the bigger producers are like building the weightier beats around it. And then there you go. It's like you say, like, someone in their bedroom who's still in school doing their GCSEs has just got a placement with like Heady One.
Exactly.
Stuff like that. It's crazy.
I feel like now more than ever, the tools are there, innit? Especially for producers to be able to make like some producers, they don't even need to leave their studio and can just create like their packs and, like you say, work on getting placements and whatever else. Like, I feel like now more than ever, especially with the way the internet is and the way everyone's interconnected on the internet, it's just kind of made everyone's life like 10 times easier. Like, have you found that with UTech, like as the years have progressed? Obviously, you've been doing this since before the internet was even like the socials was a big, massive thing. Have you found it easier to be able to maneuver and network yourself within the industry with the way the socials are now? Or
100%, man. I think like using a computer and like the internet was always like intuitive to me, because even like back in Russia, where obviously I was born in Ukraine, but then my family moved to Russia for like a couple of years before I fully moved over to the UK. But like, obviously consoles, now consoles are a thing, like gaming consoles, but like it's still very much in that whole part of the world, but Russia predominantly, it's like PC based gaming. So like using a computer and a keyboard was like, that was the first thing that I learned, you know, playing games and stuff, using the internet, chatting, chat boxes and all this stuff to get me like, so yeah, man, like even when YouTube first came about, before like KSI was a thing, before anything, like I was like I hopped on YouTube and managed to like, I wish I continued it, to be honest with you, man. Like, but obviously,
it's your bag, all that stuff, bro. I'm
yeah,
telling you.
I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it. Like I like the whole, the way internet's sick, man. It's just, it's obviously there's a lot of weird stuff going on the internet, but yeah, it can be
That's an understatement.
yeah, just
So is it safe to say you were pretty much self-taught with all this production then? Like, were you, because I know you're pretty like dope. You can get around the keyboard and stuff. Like, you're good with like keys and whatever. Like, have you self-taught everything?
Yeah. Everything's self-taught, man.
Mad.
Yeah, literally YouTube, as I say.
Bro, listen, what would we do without YouTube, man? Because like literally, even figuring out figuring out the Twitch stuff during lockdown, trying to learn how to use OBS and all the other bits. Bro, YouTube, man could get a degree in YouTube.
I'm going to be real. In my adult life, yeah, YouTube has taught me. I've learned more valuable stuff off YouTube than in my entire school life.
Real talk.
I learned from school.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Like,
it's true.
For real,
YouTube's sick, bro. Like, right, here you go. You know The Matrix? The film The Matrix. Mm-hmm. You know where he's walking up to the helicopter and he makes the call. He's like, I need to learn how to use the helicopter.
English, please.
and they boom, they tap it in and then he's got the knowledge he can use the helicopter. YouTube's like a slightly slower version than that. It's like, right, shit, I need to know how to do this. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it has everything.
I don't think there's ever been one thing that I've not been able to find. Like, there's never been a time where I've gone on YouTube and I can't find what I'm looking for.
I know.
It could be anything. Literally anything.
Yeah.
How to cut a fucking carrot. I don't know.
But so it could be anything. The most stuff I would look up on YouTube would be like DIY based stuff. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm not paying £500 for someone to come around and do this when I can learn it off YouTube in 5 minutes. And it's a terrible mentality because half the shit in my house doesn't work. But it's mad that I can literally just go on. And then 5 minutes later, but one bad thing about it, and I don't know if you two do this as well, when I'm trying to learn something from YouTube, I will look for the shortest video on that topic.
Yeah.
Someone could be there breaking it down for 17 minutes, but if someone else is doing it in 2 minutes, mate, I'm watching that one.
Yeah, but then you get the G, bruv. You get the gangster. That's the first comment that tells you the exact segment that gives you the nugget of knowledge that you need.
Yeah.
Fuck me later, guys. Yeah. Between 2 minutes 47 and 3 minutes 15, there you go. You're in.
Yeah. Cut out all the introduction.
Happy days.
But I'm the worst for that. Looking for the shortest. So YouTube's the shortcut, and now I'm looking for a shortcut.
Trying to get the watch time up, but that's the key, innit? That's how you get in the algorithm more. You got to get the watch time up, so you stretch the videos out a bit longer, and it's long.
That's it, man.
It's long.
You got to play the game.
So what happened next, Tech? Like you come to the UK. I mean, you're building your musical influences. You're tapping in. Like, did you go to college to do music? Like you went to school here? Did you study here as well? Like what was the next part of like the process for you?
No. So obviously I did the whole college uni thing, but it was always just on like a normal flex type thing. Like just you do your normal subjects. I was always kind of language. I enjoyed doing languages naturally because I had to learn English literally when I was like 4 years old or something. So like the whole grammar and tenses and all the little intricate bits about learning a language, kind of, they say like once you learn one language the rest is kind of easier. So like French, I took to French, Spanish, kind of forgotten loads of Spanish, but I can still get about it in French.
Man's multilingual in that.
Yeah.
What go on, what was it like learning English, man? Is it tough?
Yeah, English was because it was almost like, I don't know, it wasn't like it was against the clock, but like, we're trying to move to the UK. Like, there was like a period in my life where we moved to like Cyprus for a little bit. And then I went to like an international school, literally a year before I permanently moved to the UK. I went to like an international school. That was okay because obviously all the kids there like spoke with like more of an understandable accent. The accent in the UK, by the time I kind of moved here and sort of integrated into life, it was easier for me. But like my parents, like my mom and like especially my grandparents, like it's just all like when we moved to like when we went to Liverpool for the first time. That
what did you do? Where's the hardest place in the country?
Guy got the deepest local accent ever. You know, proper Scout. The only thing worse than the deep Scouse accent is like a proper like deep Glaswegian Scottish accent.
Yes, and I was just about to say, because obviously we'd be watching football and that, and then Fergie would come on and do like a post-match interview, and oh my god, mate,
what's this guy saying?
It was crazy. But
oh, fair play, man. Bloody hell.
Yeah, nah, it was yeah. So learned English and that, and then yeah, just went to school, man. Obviously, football was like during my whole like kind of young like between the ages of basically 6 to like 15. Football was a big part, and then just going to school football, just like yeah. Finished school, went sixth form, did A levels, and then I ended up going uni to do law, because that's again like what my parents were saying. You know, you need to do like a proper
the proper thing to do. The one that all the parents give that one, don't they?
Yeah, just you know. But yeah, but then I ended up dropping out of uni because, like, when I went to uni, I kind of like, it's not like I felt like, oh my god, I'm free and that, but like, you know, that's the first time in my life I was like, right, I'm by myself here. So I was just like, I just spent days producing and that. Luckily, like in my first year halls, I kind of just got like a sound bunch of people that didn't really care about me just blasting tunes all day.
Nice.
Yeah, and then like in my second year or even third year, I think like it basically got progressively more and more serious. Like by this time, I'd already been like building up a following on SoundCloud and that. That's when SoundCloud was booming. You know, SoundCloud obviously had that golden era, and then yeah, I think yeah. So I was releasing like house records at this time. So I started producing beats in school, trying to shut them off online on SoundClick and that.
My guy, hustle.
Didn't really get anywhere with that, probably because, well, the beats just weren't really up to scratch. Mainly, like looking back at it now, didn't really know anyone. Do you know what I mean? There was no plugs. It was just kind of me on my ones on the internet. But yeah. So in uni, discovered dance music and house music and that. Because you don't really get to appreciate that sound until you're really like in a big warehouse and then you're like, whoa.
I've always said this. It's mad you said this, because I used to hate house. Yeah. And I went to Beefer. I went and took it in, and it's like proper environment. And I was like, now I get it now.
Just
I fully get it now. Like I've been in it, you immerse yourself in it, and it. Like, I don't know, man. I used to look, you see them little slow build-ups and then it drops, but nothing really happens, but everyone's going, oh. Yeah. I was like, I don't get it. And then I went to Beefer and I'm in there 5 a.m. off my tits.
Yeah.
Yeah. MDMA does that to you, bro.
No. Not class A's, mate. Behave yourself. Because the first time I even heard of UTech, you was making how it was like house, like electro housey records kind of thing. I don't know the specific style, but was that how you kind of stepped into it? Was the house first?
Yeah. Because as I say, like before uni, obviously I'd spent my life in Manchester. I still live in the same area. Like I've spent my whole life in the same kind of spot. But I never immersed myself in the life of Manchester, and like I didn't go out. Do you know what I mean? Because of what my life was back then. So when I went to uni and I started going out, I can't remember exactly why and what happened. I must have like, yeah, as I say, it was a combination of like going out and experiencing it, and then just like, yeah, just taking a liking to this. And obviously, like, you know,
so the guy went out to the club and was like, I like this.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, you know, and then obviously house music is there's so much history behind it and like how it developed and that. It's all very interesting stuff. And like it like, as you were saying before, I didn't get it. Like, how are people listening to 8 minutes of just the same thing, and then a clap comes in and everyone's like, wow. Yeah. But there is a beauty in it, and like obviously when you know what to expect, it's sick. And you know, you got your tension and release, and like there's an intricacy in like the house records and that. So yeah, that took over my life for like a good few years. And like as LiTek, that was like my introduction into like the mainstream label world and whatnot. And like that was the whole brand. Because because and I'll tell you another reason why I started making house beats is because I didn't have to rely on a vocalist, so I didn't have to find a rapper or like a good singer to like, you know what I mean? So that
makes
that
sense.
took that out of the equation. I was like sick. I was gassed because you know, like you can make a listenable piece of music too that could be played on radio and you know and whatnot.
You don't even need to bring anybody extra in or have to wait on a vocal to land, or you can just kind of crack on, right?
Yeah, but then when I went back to Manchester after uni, that's when I think naturally, like I got my own studio, and then I was just like, well, because I'd been mixing and producing and engineering my own vocals, that fine and making everything sound right and delving into like effects and just basically learning everything. You know what I mean? Like not just making a beat and sending it to like an engineer. I had to just learn everything. I was just like, I could engineer. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I've met a few engineers here, like 2-4K and that. Do you get me? Like I started meeting people basically. Started seeing how people maneuver and that, and I was like, nah, I can do this. And then yeah, just
how does the producer go about trying to get like their name like known or like even just maneuvering like within like the city of Manchester? Like I remember when I first met you, you used to come to Tiger on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And just catch a vibe, and like that's how we met. And I remember playing like your songs in the club back then. So like,
shout
was
out
that
to you, broski, because that
yo,
was
bro?
you were
That
the
was
first guy.
man was putting techie on early, you know, before it was cool.
yeah.
Like, was that at that point? Was you just kind of trying to get your name out there and just, you know what it's like? You got to kind of maneuver, show your faces in spots, rub shoulders with other producers, other DJs. Is that kind of like where the journey started? Like moving for you a little bit when I used to see you out in the spots and the clubs a bit more. Like you said then, like you've gone out and you're like, yo, this is lit. I'm not used to, like, this is not how I used to get about my business kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that the key is, and like I did this without realizing, like I didn't go out to like network consciously. I was just going out because I enjoy little shubs, do you know what I mean? And just going out with my friends, just meeting a few people and that. And then yeah, when you do it like that, it's a lot, because even when I'm out, like, you know, on a night out, I'm on a night out to forget about music for a sec most of the time, just forget about making beats and stuff, and just so like just you just catch a vibe with people. And obviously Manchester's not a big place, like it is, but it's compared to London and that. And
when you live here, it's actually tiny, isn't it? Everybody knows everybody.
Exactly, man. So naturally you just start meeting people, and then, you know, that guy knows him and she knows, you know, someone else that works at the radio and whatnot, and then you just start piecing it together, you know. And then most of the real marketing that I do, networking, sorry, not marketing, is done online. Like
emails,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but then the real kind of relationships you establish just by hanging out. I think that's a big part of it, man. You've got to be as much, like, I'm an introvert, I guess, but like, you know, you do have to be able to.
I was about to say, like, a lot of producers and creatives in general, they are quite introverted. Like, you don't really see them maneuvering around like as much. Like, the older I've got, I've definitely gone that way. I used to be the complete opposite, like throwing parties and stuff. And as I've got older, I've definitely gone like the opposite. So, like, does that make it harder to maneuver around as much? Because like, you want to be in the studio, you want to be creating, like, you want to be left alone to do what you do best, but you need to build them relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fully, man. I guess it's part of the job, man. Like, as much as learning the business aspect of this whole music industry is so important, like, you know, and that took me many years to realize how important it is, because you can be in the studio making so much great music. If you don't have the right connections and the right networking skills and whatnot, and kind of and the know-how to the business side of it, you can't really excel and truly make this like a job where you can do what you enjoy doing and make money off it and whatever. Do you know what I mean? So kind of just you just got to make it part of it.
Kind of like the talent is only like half of it, innit? Really, like making the music and having the skills, but then actually getting it to market and getting it in the right places. Without that, you kind of like stuck on a dead end.
Yeah. I seen someone tweet like something like, what is it? I think obviously this applied to artists. They were talking about artists where like music is only like 20%. The rest of it is marketing your image and what you're doing on Instagram and TikTok and that, you know what I mean? Which is kind of sad, but also, you know, like just gotta accept it, man, and just like, yeah, that's the way it is.
I think there's a difference as well between like just beat makers that'll just make a load of beats, whack them on YouTube, lease them out or whatever, and then actual like producers who are like more like
massively
brand names. Like for me, Tech, I look at you like producer, engineer, but like an artist brand name within its own right. Do you know what I mean? Then you get like you say, you build a brand, you getting your pictures up, you're making sure your socials are on point, but then you've got like the other side of it where man will just make a beat, send it out, and they're not really asked about all the rest of it. Like, do you reckon that's a fair like take on it? Or
yeah, definitely, man. Like, so yeah, so important, man. Branding and like, you know, you could be just as good, if not a little bit worse, than like some kid sat in his bedroom, but because you're out and about and, you know, looking sick and whatnot and just active, basically, you know, it's just, yeah, it's part of it.
But also the difference that I see between a beat maker and a producer is like a beat maker, how I see it, is someone who literally would just be making the loops and the beats in their bedroom, put them up on SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. And if someone finds it, they might license it to them, sell it to them. But a producer is someone who's in the studio with the artist, or makes something and thinks, oh, you know what, Tion Wayne would sound amazing on this. Let's get him in. And then they get him in, and then they build the song together. And he's like, okay, take these bits. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how I view the difference between a beat maker and a producer.
Got you. Yeah, I always have this convo with 2-4 as well, man. Like some producers will get an artist in the studio and they'll help guide the session, and they'll pull stuff out of them, or you jump into that little. I'm Tech. I'm sure you're exactly the same way. Like, do you prefer to be hands-on with an artist in the studio where you can have that chemistry? Like some might say, oh yeah, they just sent me the beat and I dropped a 16 on it and sent it back. Like for me, I feel like that's kind of like that's a bit of a dead shout for me personally. Like, do you prefer to be in the studio where you can direct the session and pull bits out? And because I know you think different when it comes to this music stuff, man.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that's one of the biggest skill of being a producer as well, is being able to, you know, to get an artist and play them something that they wouldn't normally jump on, but then be able to articulate your thoughts and ideas and kind of get them to see it the way you're seeing it. And then, you know, that's how you get a good producer. Like the old school definition, as you say, Dubl, of producer isn't someone that's just like a guy that's on keys, a guy that's sat there in front of the computer. It's a guy literally like that gets a keyboard player, a bassist, and, you know, like an engineer, and he says, right guys, this is what I want you to do, this is what I want you to do. I've got Lil Baby or whoever it is, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I think that the guy that does it best, or the guy that we all see doing it constantly, is DJ Khaled.
I was about to mention him.
Khaled.
He doesn't. I'm pretty certain he doesn't even touch the buttons when it comes to making the beats.
No, he doesn't.
I think there was a couple of songs. There was a couple of songs where he did the cuts. He had a couple on an album a few albums ago. He did some of the scratching because he's got techers as a DJ, you know.
People get it twisted, man. He's a big selector, Khaled.
Yeah, but even with the skills, man, like the technical skills, the beat juggling and all that, Khaled can do it. And I think there was an album where he did some of the cuts, but production-wise, or beat-making-wise, I should say, he generally doesn't make the beats. I don't know if he ever touches the keyboard to do
I reckon he sits in the session and probably just be like, he'll have the ear in it. He'll have the DJ ear like we have, and he'll probably just help guide it a little bit. Yeah. I have this theory though. I reckon he gets a top hat, puts all the best artists in the world on paper, rips them up, throws them in, just picks them out. We'll put him on a track with him over there. Right, sweet. We'll put him on, bro. When I seen the track list, I thought this. Obviously, he's known for it anyway. He's good at pulling artists together. But I thought this track listing, the names and the level is just ridiculous. It didn't live up to the hype for me personally, but...
What, the latest album?
Yeah, maybe I need to take it in a little bit more, but...
And I hear you, man. I hear you. Like, his last album and, like, another one, I can never remember what they're called off the top of my head. Like, he's done good bodies of work, but this one, even though there's, like, yeah, I don't know. Something's just not right with this one. There's
a couple hits on it, but it just doesn't feel I like albums when it feels like an album where you can let it play through and it feels like a body of work and it's meant to be together like that. Khaled just kind of just.
Khaled's albums.
Man just sprinkles all the dust in. There you go,
yeah,
guys. There's my
his
new album.
I mean, I haven't actually listened to the new one yet, but his albums have never excited me. And the reason is exactly that. It's because they don't feel like concepts or journeys.
The compilations, I call them compilations.
They sound like a compilation of different songs. What Khaled does, and I think it's probably the DJ in him, is he's very good at making hits.
Yeah.
But then I think when it comes to making albums, he has his 1, 2, maybe 3 hits from the album, and then he just puts other songs together so that he has a body of work. Does that make sense?
So just do them as mixtapes. Like that's how they feel.
Well,
I feel like it's just got him and all his homies, and they're all just making a couple bangers. Like,
yeah, but it's mostly original beats. I still look at mixtapes. Still now, I look at mixtapes kind of as like sort of throwaway projects and not all original beats a lot of the time. Whereas with Khaled, like I feel like he puts a lot of work into the music. But it just doesn't feel fluid when it comes to the albums. I've never been excited by a Khaled album, although it is good music.
I got excited by the track list. I can't lie. Before I listened to it and I seen the cover, I was like, "Boy,
I know."
He's gone in there.
But this is the thing, though. I think on paper, Khaled's music looks incredible. If you look at the name, every era of his albums,
true story,
is like A-list names. Every single album. But then it's never, ever lived up to what those names could be if they were all hits.
Yeah,
Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
That's how I see it, anyway.
Even talking about the sampling we mentioned earlier, I think like 8 of the tracks are sampled.
Right.
I think. Like more than half the album.
Thing that I thought, like, in this album, the samples, like, he's done really well in the past with samples, you know what I mean? Like, the ones that really were hits, especially, and there's a couple other ones where like they weren't like massive hits. They've still got many millions of hit plays, but like the way he's done the samples is sick. But on this one, it's like I'm hearing samples that I know, even but there's more that I don't even know. But like it's not like I don't know. It's like it's just
guys messing with some classics on this new one, you know. Oh my days. Anyway. How does it work? Do any of you guys know the technicalities in regards to like sampling on records? Like,
what do you mean?
Like in regards to like the splits or how it works with like the monies? Like, do you know what I mean? How much of the sample? Is it something like how influential the sample is to the record and stuff like that gets taken into account?
There's so many different factors, and like. Money-wise, how it's split will vary from sample to sample. Like some people, and also I think, LiTek, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it's down to who owns the publishing on the record as well, isn't it? So a lot of the times, like if someone on Sony releases a new song and it has a sample from an old catalog that's also on Sony, it's more likely to get cleared because it's through the same companies, and basically the same company will make the money back through the publishing and stuff. It's a very techie subject though, the sampling.
I was always curious about that. I don't know if you've have you had to tap into anything like that yet, Tech, or have you really done anything sample wise or
recently, man? I've been working a lot with Blanco, man, and one of the things he wanted to do for his project, he basically just said like, can we sample, you know, Mas Canada, the Jogo Bonito song?
Oh, what the football thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just like, wow. I mean, you've really gone in the deep end there.
Trying to get that cleared.
Yeah. But, you know, we did it, and we made the song. It was a banger, and that, and then so it went to the label, obviously, his label. They were like, all right, okay, cool. They shouted, whoever owns the rights. They said it's cool. Then basically it went through like 3 or 4 stages of, you know, I mean, whatever was going on, and then it got to like the final guy, I think, who like wrote the record, the original composition, and he was just like, nah, and then the whole thing just couldn't happen.
What? So I'm saying, some man does have the keys in it. I'm shutting that down.
Because I imagine that sample, you know, so many people try and sample that.
Real talk.
I wasn't really surprised, man. Like, I can't lie, I started getting a bit gassed. I was like, no way, maybe
We're onto
major
something.
label
We're
here,
onto something.
innit? And then yeah. So it's one of them.
Which artist was that? Did you say Blanco? Like
Blanco.
Harlem Spartans Blanco?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, man.
Sick artist.
Listen, bro. Like Dubl, I don't think Dubl fully knows like too much about you tech, but like you've worked with Bear, man. Before you come on, I was kind of saying how I feel like you have helped shape like the sound in Manny over the last few years, like doing like the bits with Sammy, like the bits with H, like the Tunde stuff, like with just Banco. Like I feel like I don't know, man. Like I definitely feel like you've contributed heavily to like the sound that's coming out of our city right now. Do you think that's kind of helped you tap into to people like Blanco and like the artists down south? It's kind of just opened this whole new network for you.
Yeah. 100%, man. Like before I fully decided to like, because I used to like, you know, it's still on my list of things to do type thing, like for my journey, and that is to go to the States and connect with man over there and that. But and even when I was selling beats online, and you know what I mean, like I was aiming for like Atlanta and LA and all that. But then as I started doing my research and kind of just understanding how life works, and that you kind of have to do your thing in your own place of where you are, do you know what I mean? And then branch out locally in your own country. So it's all stepping stones. You can't just, you know, I'm not saying you can't, but like, yeah. So defo, man, like I'm sure if I just started sending like even Blanco, man, when I heard Blanco's stuff, I was just like, wow, like I've never heard someone spit on beats like that. Like I feel, and you know, it wasn't like I shouted him, you know, I had to get my team to shout the label and that, like, and if I hadn't been doing what I was doing, I think it would have been a lot harder to just get in a session with them, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's all part of the process.
That was the Anakin joint. Was that the first one that you guys done together?
Yeah.
Because even when I heard that, I was like, this beat is different, isn't it?
Trust me, man. Like that's some like that's Brazilian. That's Bayou Funk. Like that's, you know, Sango DJs, that stuff. There's like, you know, a few selection heads DJ that stuff, but never in a million years that I think, especially in the UK. Obviously, there's man in Brazil that like that's their thing. These man vocal these type of beats out. But then I heard like some guy in London just absolutely flowing effortlessly over it, and it's sounding sick. I was like,
it's the way he comes in. It's the opening bars. I don't even know what he says, man.
Oh, I don't even know half the time what he's saying.
Pedaling, come through. I was like, yo, family, my days.
Yeah.
What's your situation at the minute then, Tech? Are you signed with anyone? Have you like publishing in place? Like, what's your current situation as it stands?
So I've got a publishing deal with NQ, who are with Universal, but NQ is just like obviously the money branch, I guess.
Yeah. So
safe to say they're a powerhouse in Manchester now, right?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yeah. It just felt right, man. Like because obviously I've been in a lot of situations, you know, even back when I was making my house stuff with management and labels and stuff. Like I'm glad that I got involved in all of that stuff, like while I was still young, and yeah, just, you know what I mean? So I kind of got a feel for what is right and what I feel I need. And it just felt right to just have these guys here. I've got my, you know, I know all the guys that work for NQ personally. They're my friends, do you know what I mean? So just, yeah, it's good, man. I'm enjoying the way it's going, definitely. It's just a shame that obviously I signed just as COVID started happening. But obviously minor, you know, we'll just maneuver around it.
Is it true that people are holding rhythm now because of COVID? Are you holding your best rhythm over there, Tech, till everything opens back up? No, I mean, that's it. Because I feel like even though there's been some hits over the last year, I feel like man is semi holding back for when. I mean, everybody wants a club smash. I mean, people want the world to be moving again. Is that a fair thing to say? Do you make a rhythm and be like, oh boy, maybe we should sit on that for a minute?
There was definitely like an element. It was tough, man. Like it was a battle of that, what you just said exactly, and also like, you know, less so for me, but this was conversations I'm having with artists that I'm working with right during this whole period. They're thinking, right, sitting on all these bangers that would do considerably better if we had festivals and clubs and that. But then also like you've got to keep releasing, otherwise you're gonna get forgotten about. Do you know what I mean? it's such a. This is why, yeah, everything's just been. Well, the dust is settling. I feel like I think the yeah, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I hope so, bruv. I hope you're right, man. Bloody hell. Drop a summer banger for us, our kid. Come on.
It makes me wonder with so many artists holding back music. It makes me wonder if it's gonna allow the sound of the UK. So like drill, for example, the drill sound is very, very popular at the moment. And I just wonder if this, where people have been holding on to tunes, is it going to extend its lifespan where suddenly, you know, June, July, August, we're suddenly getting loads more bangers of that sound? Or is it just naturally, as it does, is it going to evolve at its normal speed and just change onto the next popular sound and stuff? What do you reckon? You're an insider, so you're making the beats.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think it'll probably evolve because the fact that we haven't been able to experience like drill is essentially club music. I think, like, I don't know, like you can't just sit at home and listen to just bare drill. It's headache after a bit, man. Like it is.
It's no secret that I am not a big drill fan. So
yeah. And I think a lot of drill, man, that are like we know as drill artists, like they're starting to, you know, mess around with rap. You know what I mean? 100 BPM, different BPM, regions. Even 140 still, but just not drill. You know, like. That's why, like, I'm quite happy with the fact that, like, I managed to make a tune with Mastermind and get Band OK, who's obviously OFB drill, straight drill, but I managed to get him on a 100 BPM
I was about to say,
like wavy thing. Yeah, so like, I'm glad, you know what I mean? Like, I'm happy that like that's the record that I have with him. Obviously, I've got a drill tune with him as well that recently came out, but you know, like, yeah, I don't know. I think the man that are doing drill themselves are getting bored of it a little bit now. I don't know.
I hear that.
Yeah.
I think
I may be wrong. I don't know. You never know with these things.
I think some are getting bored of it. But I think there are some artists who I just drill through and through. I don't know if it's the fact that they just love the sound and that's what they're going to stick to. I don't know if it's that they're just not comfortable on other BPMs and they don't really know what to do on it. But then you've got you've got artists like Lowski who came out as a drill artist hard and then experimented, dropped tunes like Forrest Gump.
Yeah, he's been all over, man.
And like even
he sampled Bashy's Black Boys on the last project, which I didn't see come in. It's mad.
Right. Lowski's a great example of the type of drill artist that will go. I mean, obviously he's doing bits already, but we'll be here for the long run. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he's evolving ahead of the music.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it, man. You've got to be you've got to evolve with the sound, man. Like I think less so now because music is definitely it's moving a lot faster. But like back in the day, people used to hate on artists that would do something different suddenly. It's just like, why?
They'd be like, oh, why are you selling? Oh, you're selling out.
Yeah,
like, are you selling out?
Nah, man. Like the best artists historically, the best rappers, say for example, if we're talking about rap music, they're the ones that were able to adjust the flow a little bit. You can still tell it's them, but they're just doing something a little bit differently, and they're the ones that last the longest, man. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just it shows a skilled musician in my eyes.
Yeah,
do you think it's harder for producers to evolve, especially the way that a lot of producers are the ones that really kind of set the trend and shape the music?
Sometimes, yeah, especially as you say, those guys that like find something, you know, not necessarily that they can't evolve anymore and that, but yeah, that's why like I find myself being in the situation. That's why I'm glad that I've come from house music. You know, I've made dubstep and all sorts of stuff in the past, and then like I find it easier to move with the times and you know, be a chameleon, as Stxylo called me.
Bro, this guy will hear something, and he'll just play. He'll just go and make a song. It's not normal.
But that's an amazing trait to have as a producer, because even if you're not the one setting the trend, if you hear a certain like the Afro swing or Afro bashment trend that came out and was massively popular, people like J5 shaped that whole landscape. But then there was so many other producers that were like, oh, okay, well, that's the sound. And then they were then able to ride the wave as well, get other big artists involved in that movement. Suddenly you have a scene. Same way with drill. Do you know what I mean? Like M1 on the beat, for example, is one of the pioneers. One of the ones at the forefront. But then there's so many other producers that are able to emulate what he's doing. And now there's a drill scene. And then with whatever's going to be next in like the UK rap scene, whoever shapes that, other producers that are versatile enough to change with that sound will be successful there.
Yeah. And whenever they do pick up on the sound, I think you naturally put your own thing to whatever you're enjoying.
I'm glad you just said this, Tech, because I was about to say, I feel like with you, like obviously you get a current sound, and like producers will bite it, and like you'll hear a lot of beats that might sound a little bit the same, or they'll add a lot. I feel like what you do, you completely take it into your own pocket. Even if it's in that genre and that sound, I feel like you still make it so individual and unique to you. It kind of still, even though it's in the same genre, it's in that like LiTek bag. Like I feel like the way you do your stuff kind of separates from all the rest, in my opinion. Anyway.
Nah, fully, man. That's the sessions, and that's the music I enjoy doing most, man. It's part of the game. Like, you know, especially when I go to London, I've got to make drill beat for drill, man. You get me? That's just the stepping stone right now for me. Like to you know, I can't go there and be like, I'm LiTek, I'm this guy that makes all this weird stuff. They're gonna be like, you need to develop some sort of relationship and kind of like establish a, you know, any person I worked with in London, it was like that, you know, like at first, you know, like they wanted to hear what they are used to jumping on. But then, you know, with time, like J5, man, J5 actually, because we mentioned him, he's been doing this thing for so long. Like it took he connected and developed a serious relationship and bond with like a lot of man before like crafting a sound together with them and like making some out the box stuff.
Yeah, it's the invisible work that people don't see that really matters, isn't it? It's like we said earlier, like the networking, the relationships, and then all the stuff that's just off socials and offline that just build the foundations. But what I've found is when a producer gets a certain accolade, then suddenly that seems to be a tipping point for so much more stuff. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I produced Fredo's Daily Duppy. And then, oh, okay, did you? Cool. Boom, boom, boom. And now people want to know. Do you find that was the case for you? Like, what was your breakthrough moment that you suddenly were like, oh shit,
I'm in this now. Yeah.
I think there was like a few, like obviously Bait Lies with Sammy kind of was a big song in Trust. That was, I love that song. Like genuinely like love listening to that song. Like, you know, by the time the song comes out, sometimes I'm just tired of it and I don't even want to hear it. But like that was like a big one, like just locally. And then like obviously to everyone outside of Manchester, you know, like that little cut with H. That was like, okay, cool. Like he's got a cut with H. He must be.
Was
like,
is that the Mice record?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The little flute. And then obviously, like the track with Bando and Mastermind, the Tunde stuff, which I didn't even realize was gonna help me the way it did.
Flying, bro. Tunde's moving different, man.
Just man, and I love Tunde as well. He's just a humble guy, bro. He's just ready to hear me out and. You know, just
love that.
Yeah. So yeah, that definitely is a big part of it. And this is what I always say to like people that are just like, oh, how do you like, you know, you just got to keep just doing it, and then you'll land something, and then suddenly, it's like I was watching an interview of what's the song now? What's the like, you know, the Korean band, the K-pop band?
Oh, all the guys.
Yeah.
What's the one that was on the advert? The fucking song that was on like 150 times a day.
But it broke Billboard records, like the one that's just still probably in the top 10.
I know I can't remember the name, but
it's literally on the edge of my brain.
Is that a song that's on that? Is it the Samsung or Apple advert?
Is it BTS?
Yes, BTS. Yeah.
BTS, yes.
Yeah. So like the guy that made that and the girl that wrote it, well, they both kind of wrote it. He produced it. They're from London, and he did like a Genius breakdown, you know, the Genius beat breakdowns that they do on YouTube. And he was saying that, like, obviously, where man that make beats, it's a lot easier to get placements, but in the pop world, it's next to impossible, like, you know, to go from zero to like the first step. Do you get me? And then he said that, like, he's a sick, talented guy, man. He can sing, he can play the keys flawlessly. Like, his ideas are sick. Like, you can tell he's a genius. But like, no one wanted to hear him until he did that, and then suddenly everyone thinks, right, this is the man for the job every single time when nothing's changed. You know what I mean?
No one cares.
Bro, the game is rigged. This is the thing. No, the game is rigged in a way, because you could be out here for 20 years, but then it just takes this one person to put you in the spotlight, and then it becomes the cool thing, or you become the guy to like holler. And that is a prime example, because that record is it's just astronomically huge, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it, man. You've got to be really just, you can't take no for an answer, man. You got to be kind of like just head down and just I
was gonna say, like, how do you separate yourself from the bunch? Because like, it's kind of like in DJing now. I guess it's the same in production. There must be so many producers, so many bedroom producers, so many people at college that all want to get to the top. Like, how do you separate yourself from the bunch? Like, is it just the case of, like you just said, perseverance, head down, not taking no for an answer, consistently making like good stuff to the point? But you can see how people can get a little bit disheartened on the journey, but it's just got to keep knocking the doors down, I guess.
I mean, that's number one. But also, I think, as we were saying before, you got to do all the little extra bits. You got to network. You got to think outside the box on these socials. You know, like, just you've got to be bothered to do all the little extra bits and bobs if you really want to. You know,
I think something that benefits producers is what I call working sideways. So, like, a lot of people will be like, right, I make a beat, I want H to go on it, or I want Nines to go on it, or do you know what I mean? Like, I want all the biggest rappers to go on it. Yeah. But what I think a lot of new producers should be looking at, and the reason I say working sideways, is what artists are on your level. Like, what artists are brand new, because they're the ones that need the beats. They're the ones that are going to work for the beats, potentially sometimes pay for the beats. Yeah. And then if you've got 20 brand new artists on your beats, the likeliness of one of them blowing up and your song being that song and taking you with it, you've got better odds than firing your beat pack to an artist like Giggs, who probably gets 100,000 beat packs sent to him a month. Do you know what I mean? Like,
real talk.
It's those kind of things. And I think attaching yourself to artists and even producer collaborations on your level just helps build that level up, so that when someone grows, it just naturally pulls everyone through that's connected in that step. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely, man. You've hit the nail on the head, man. Like, that's one of the biggest parts of how to do this thing properly. Because, like, also the likelihood of you getting a hit with, say, for example, Nines, who's already, you know, established and he's got his big tracks, as opposed to someone that's fresh and no one's heard of him before. You know, it's always, you know, you have that big breakthrough hit that everyone knows forever. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them.
Not only that, it's the longevity then behind that track. Because if that artist gets to a level of someone like Giggs, or let's just say, I mean, even let's just say like Drake's song Forever is an anthem for Drake. There will never be a time when Drake does not perform Forever. Yeah. And that song, so anyone referencing Drake will include that song. The publishing and the replayability of that song alone, that's probably whoever, I can't even remember who produced it, but whoever produced it could probably retire just off of that song. Do you know what I mean? Because constantly, all the time, anyone puts a Drake playlist together, Drake on the radio, a best of, like, whatever it is, that song is just recirculating money. Like Mariah Carey's Christmas song.
Oh,
every Christmas you hear that without fail, and that will happen to the end of time.
Can we touch on publishing quickly, like before we move, for like I don't know, any upcoming like producers that maybe, like, I know I didn't fully know about what publishing was like when I was coming through the music industry, like, and a lot of beat makers probably don't even know like what that side of it even entails. So like, what even is publishing for a producer? And like, what's the process around it? Like, what is music publishing for a producer? Like, you have a publishing deal, right, Tech? How what is the process of it, and how does it work for the people that aren't fully educated on that side of it?
Yeah, man, this is why like learning it's difficult as well, man, because royalties and publishing and like, you know, does publishing include radio plays or is it streams? Like it's all so like I'm still trying to like fully get my like it's a lot clearer to get me like I know what's going on now, but man, it took years like to really understand. Like, so a publisher will help you collect royalties for, you know, when your song plays on the radio, perform when it's performed, basically just helps you collect royalties. A publisher will also help you get sessions.
Okay.
Because it's in their own interest, you know, they have a cut, they'll take a percentage of all of your royalties, right, for however long your deal is. So it's in their interest for you to make as much and as good music as possible. So that's like a big pro of it, I guess. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like monetization, isn't it? Like, it's just kind of like a monetization of your work. Yeah. So when it's spread out in public places, the right people are eating, essentially.
One really important thing that I noticed about publishing is there's a certain, I can't remember exactly what it is, but there's a certain type of publishing money that's not accessible if you don't have a publishing deal.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be signed with a publisher to be able to get that pot of money. Otherwise, that pot of money will always be there.
Yeah.
You just can't get it. But
you'll see artists from 20 years ago, innit? And they're collecting the bag now because like they've not had a publishing deal. Someone huge the other day was tweeting about this.
Yeah.
Huge record. I can't remember what it was. It was from back in the Motown days. And they collected the bag. It's 20 years later, bruv.
I feel like it's almost like investing. Because if you've got your song catalogue early and you really believe it's going to be doing bits, you can just leave it, not sign a publishing deal. And then if you get to Drake levels, find someone to sign that publishing deal with and you'll be getting hundreds of millions. Or starting early, you want to secure a little bit of a bag to maybe do up your studio or whatnot, and you might get like a £50,000 publishing deal if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But it can be a bit of a gamble. So it definitely
depends on your situation, man.
100%.
Yeah, like as you say, like, you know, it really is situational, man, because you hear all these big artists always talk about like P. Diddy and people like that, you know, own your rights, own your publishing. But like, I hear that. But like, you know, sometimes you need that little cash injection to propel you to the next level and whatnot, or like put in sessions that you weren't in before. Massively. You know, and then if you know your stuff, right, in regards to the way the business works and how publishing works, you can negotiate a deal that is in your favor, you know, and doesn't put you in some hole for the next 10 years and whatnot. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I heard recently there's some artists are signed and locked into publishing deals for life, like forever. Which even though the deals are over now,
dun, dun, dun.
The deals are over now, but the labels that they're signed with have rights, they're publishing rights for those songs forever. That's a huge fucking because there should, I thought it was like a 3-year expiry or something that they should be on publishing deals.
There's I don't know, like obviously maybe there is one where it lasts forever, but I think like when you're really getting done over is like, well, I don't know, in it each to their own, whatever the situation is, but labels can retain the rights for like 15 years, and like that's a whole career. Like
15 years is massive.
You know what I mean? Like what if you made a hit and then just like for the next 15 years they're just eating off it, you know what I mean? And the bigger you get, the more
there's a big artist out there, and I can't say in public. I think I've told you.
Don't, bro. We have rules. If you bring it up on the pod, you gotta say it.
All right, I'm backing out. Then I can't say it. But what I will say,
I've got the same book.
this book here. Yeah. I learned so much from this book. Helen Gammons, The Art of Music Publishing. Big up to DJ Prospect because he put me onto this book because I had some questions for him. Prospect's a legend, you know. Whenever I have questions, I always ask him about certain things. And he was like, yo, check this book out. It will tell you everything you need to know. So for anyone listening, that can't see the video, that I just held it up.
I bought the same book off the back of you, bro. So there you go. You're spreading.
Oh, what you got? It's because of me.
I got the same one, bro. Yeah.
Helen Gammon's The Art of Music Publishing, and yeah, it's
Helen Gammon.
I'm not even all the way through it yet.
Mad name still.
I've learned a lot of stuff.
Double, before you go, actually, we're talking about the publishing and stuff. You interviewed Kyla, right?
Yes.
Did you talk? The Drake One Dance sample from the old Funky record. Did she speak about the deal that she got with?
Yeah, that was
publishing for that.
That was the only
there was
reason
loads of little rumors going on around about
Double got it from the source.
So at that time, I wasn't really interested in the publishing side of stuff, so I didn't really probe her about that. But I did ask about her deal. She didn't tell me specifically, but what she basically explained was it wasn't like a one-off payment for using her voice, and there wasn't like a, there you go, we'll give you 10 grand and we're just going to use the sample.
Kind of makes me think she got a publishing, she tied into the publishing there, isn't it?
She implied that basically she gets a percentage of the royalties from the song, because she was like, this Drake using this track has niced me up. And she, although I didn't probe her for a number because she said she didn't want to say what number, but
well, you should have.
No, she wasn't on it, bro. She said she said to me she doesn't want to say the number. Otherwise I would have done.
Couple million.
But yeah, she basically like, she's nice. Drake, she said Drake properly looked after her and the team. Which I like. Everything I've heard about Drake, and when he's sampling and crediting people and all of this stuff,
makes sure everyone's nice.
Him and his team are clean-hearted, man. From everything that I've heard, there doesn't seem to be any fuckeries. He seems to look after people properly.
Well, why wouldn't you if you're in Drake's shoes?
I know. And
what difference is it going to make to him?
even if you're only getting like a little 1 point, even if you're getting like half, a producer normally gets like between 1 to like 5 points on a record.
Yeah.
Like percent. And even if you're getting like half a percentage off of
that song.
Off of One Dance, which went like number one in like 20 countries. Like,
it broke every record at the time, didn't it? Like,
just ridiculous. But if you took that sample out, maybe the song, it doesn't die, but it loses its identity completely, innit?
Yeah, fully.
Right, I've got to bounce, but you guys are gonna carry on the conversation. So, LiTek, it's been amazing.
Double's got to go to school.
I've got to go to school now, but yeah, sorry, I've got to cut out early, man. I was enjoying this one.
No, it's all good, but we've only got like another 10, 15 anyway, so I've got
to meet you, man.
You guys keep the conversation flowing anyway, because I'm going to listen back to this one, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Double, have a good school one, mate.
Peace.
Just got to leave that one in, the little rascal. Right, Double, get out. Come on, get off. Get off. Yo, Tech, Edit, talk to us about, let's talk about, I was looking through your discography last night. Obviously you've done like some mixing work for Central C's like new projects, and I seen you done a post on your Insta. I think it might have been a couple of months ago. You had a heap of productions and like projects you'd engineered like in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think it was that like on the iTunes chart or something like that? I think it was. I can't even remember.
Yeah. It was like a little moment that like my brother, funnily enough, or it was actually Sunday. So Sunday's project was number 2 on the album chart, and then he screenshotted it, and then I looked at it and I was just like, wait, I've mixed and mastered the whole of number 1, which was Central C. Obviously that project smashed it. Sundays was up there for a sec. I produced 3 tracks on there, and then the 1 track off the Bando OFB tape.
Yeah.
Was number 3.
So you didn't even clock at the time that you had all that work in the top 10, nah?
No.
This guy, wake up, man.
Obviously, I knew about the number 1, obviously Central C, because Central's been, he's had a lot of gas around his name right now. He's arguably like, top 3 in the UK at the moment. But I had no idea, man.
When you started doing this, when you started on this production journey, bro, when you go back to like we're talking about the house stuff and like back in college and all that, like did you even think like it would get to obviously you've still got so much more to achieve. I feel like the world is your oyster, but that's like that moment you just said then, to see all that work in the top 10, going back to learning how to make beats off YouTube and whatever else. Like, could you see like that you would end up being here, and like what's the plan for you moving forward from now?
I think like it's, as you say, there's so much more still to do, and so many more people to work with, and so many accolades to win, and yeah. But I guess so, yeah, man. Like this is why I never really like ponder on little victories and that, because it's all part of like a much bigger journey for me. Like,
Real talk.
yeah. So like all this stuff, like when it happens, it's good gas. Like can't lie. And on these little moments when like you get sent a screenshot, and it's just like, whoa, will you deep it for a sec? But you can't let that stuff like get like you can't sit there and like just like just be gassed, because it's not like I need number ones. I need Grammys. I need all sorts.
That's the talk, bro.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it's too easy to get like overly gassed off. Like people say, don't get too overgassed over the highs and don't get too low off the lows. You kind of just got to sit in the middle at all times. Do you know what I mean? Or it can kind of throw you off. Is that I take it that's been your approach so far?
Yeah.
It's like you say, getting all them things in the top 10. How would it be? It's too easy enough to just be like, yo, I'm clear now. Like I'm in.
I mean, if it happened like like I accidentally produced some beat and it ended up in like, you know what I mean? It was just like, whoa, like how did this happen? But like this has been years in the making, man. Like, so it's like, right, you kind of don't. It's just you're so used to just getting your head down and just going and going and going. Gary V says you can't don't listen. You can't get excited by the compliments.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take in the criticisms, because and then you'll be live.
No, it's true, man. I feel like especially in the music game and just in creatives in general, we're always striving for the next thing. So like you'll do something, you'll achieve something, and you don't really take it in.
Yeah.
And then it's
I'm surrounded by a lot of people, man, like who are doing very well, like like in their own respective fields. So it's great, man. That's a big part of this whole thing, is surrounded.
I think that's important, being surrounded by surrounded by greatness kind of rubs off on you.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like you even I've seen I've seen a screenshot of Will Smith. I think he did an interview with what's Skepta's sister called?
Julie.
Yes, Julie. Like she had a screenshot of an interview she must have like written down with Will Smith, and he says that look around at like who you spend, the 6 people that you spend most time with on a day.
I see in this post.
That's so true, man. Literally, I had to screenshot that myself and save that, because that is, because I clock it, man. I clock it every now and again, like as time goes on and like naturally circle shifts.
Mm-hmm.
I see it in myself, like certain things rub off on me, and I have to, if it's a bad thing, I've got to consciously be like, nah, wait, I need to reevaluate what's going on.
It kind of happens without even realizing, innit? But like your surroundings. So like the stuff that you take in like throughout the day, the stuff you're reading, even down to like what you eat and what kind of info you're putting in your brain, to the people that you chill with, it all kind of contributes towards
100%.
your character, innit?
100%.
You're on your own a lot though, bro. Like same as like I'm the same. Like I'm on my own a lot, so I need to make sure like I'm taking in the right stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, like I don't know, man. I've gotten used to, like when I was playing football and that my nan was the person that would gas me up psychologically for training. So like speaking to myself and like firing myself up and being in my own head, that's like normal to me.
Got you.
So I like just sitting here and like being, you know what I mean? It's not even like I'm working hard. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely just like being, as I'm sure the same with you, bro.
I mean, sometimes you need to kick up the arse, but if you train to just give yourself a kick up the arse, like I know most days I've got to get up and go and get it. No one needs to tell me. Do you know what I mean? And like you're constantly striving. So I guess that's pretty much the exact same for you, because you're your own boss in this music game. So like no one's dragging you out of bed in the morning and saying make sure you're there at this time. Like you've got to get up and go and get it off your own back, innit?
Yeah, and that's why when you're doing what you love, that it's easy to do that. It doesn't even feel like you're having to drag yourself out of bed. So
who's been your favorite, like what's been your favorite experience with an artist in the studio? Who's been your favorite artist to work with, and like what's been like the biggest like vibe that you've caught? Because like I look at your list, like from Mastermind, Blanco, H, Sammy, Tunde. Like I remember you did the Bugsy remix thing, like Central. Colts, Bando, like there's a list on there, isn't it? Like what's been I don't want you to obviously don't want to feel like you're leaving out any other artists or anything like that.
No.
You know,
I was just about to say, every little experience is, you know, sick in its own right. But I think probably, I think it's also because it's fresh in my head as well, because it's only recently that I had this little 2 sessions with this guy.
Okay.
Parsalu, obviously. Yeah. Bro, honestly, that guy,
Cold.
yo, he's just for
What's
what
he like as a character, bro? Because he seems mad.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, you get me. Like, me and YJ had like 2 days with him, and obviously, man didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, I'd heard like a few songs with him. But he's got that energy about him. But bro, the sweetest guy you'll ever
Is
be.
he?
Yeah. But then also,
I said the sweetest guy, you know.
he's just the sweetest guy, and also, but he's you know, he's not, you know, he's about it, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what I'm gonna say, man.
yeah, you don't want to mess with him type thing. But yeah, but like musically as well, bro. Like, just incredible, man. Like, obviously, we made some stuff sort of tailored towards him, and like every single one, he's just one of them guys who just put a mic in front of him,
He just rolls it out,
put some headphones in, and I'll just start rapping, singing like this mad tone of voice.
I remember when I heard My Family the first time, and I was like, "What is?"
In it.
He's like, "Bring it up." I was like, "What is this guy on?" And then I seen the video, and I was thinking, "Now this guy's moving and like that." What was the chemistry like? What was the session like on the day? Was that the first time you'd met him? So is there can there be a little awkwardness sometimes when you go to a session and you've never met that artist?
Yeah, 100%. And this is why I'm thankful for the fact that I have YJ with me, who's kind of also part of NQ, and we kind of do a lot of these London trips. He started, you know, he signed first, and he started doing these trips before, and then obviously I've done like a couple of trips by myself.
Got you.
We both, you know, we tell each other like, bro, it's just not the same. Like, and you know, this is exactly like one of the reasons why, like, you know, when you just don't know who this person is and like what they're like. So us just sat there like, you know, you've come into our room kind of thing. We're like, yo, right.
We were here first.
Yeah. So it helps. But he was completely alive, man. Like, just caught a vibe instantly, man. And then since then we've been sessioning just as much as we can. Obviously, he's most of the time in London. Like, just
How do you approach it, bro? Like, when you go to a session, say you're with Parsalu on this day, like in your head, are you kind of already kind of thinking like how to approach the sound? Are you taking into account the material that he's already done, what kind of stuff he's already like barred on, or is it a case of going in there and just kind of feeling out the vibe for that day?
More time it is, you know, I like to, especially when I started, I was super attentive to like, even to where I was listening to what, you know, they've got out and what key the song is in. So like, okay, right, because, you know, not everyone can sing in every key and across like several octaves. You know, most people can't, but like, so people are comfortable in a certain range. So as a producer, it's important to, you know,
take that into account.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, the tempo, obviously that's a given, the BPM range, the vibe, the mood of the song, like all that. Yeah. And then once you have that first session, that second session, you've done the little bits, and, you know, then you can start experimenting and doing, or going outside the box a bit.
So you got a project dropping with Parsalu then? Can you tell us anything, or is it under? You don't obviously don't get yourself into trouble, bro, if it's under.
No. I mean, it's not a project, but I've got a really exciting. So it's Parsalu with a big.
Yeah, don't get yourself in trouble, bro. Tell me off air.
Yeah. His name rhymes with bow tie.
Oh my god, cold.
Yeah. Hopefully, innit? So we'll see,
bro. Them two artists like are so fresh and out the box, man.
Yeah,
like that, and then blend that with you, man, on the production as well.
Yeah. It's a different
that's
song,
gonna be a different kind of brainchild record.
I don't know how what it's gonna do and whatnot, but it's definitely like out the box and just weird, and yeah,
sick.
Yeah,
sick. But I'm super buzzing for you, man. Like I say, I've like even just watching you like just grow as a producer and to see where you're at now. And like we were talking about trying to get producers on. And like you was one of the first, obviously being from Manny and me being local, like we wanted to make sure we got you on first, innit? And like even just the way you've come through in the last year, especially through lockdown, I feel like some people have kind of been knocked down a little bit or struggled, but I feel like you like have excelled and got yourself in a pretty like healthy position. Like what's the plans? What's the plans for you now moving forward, bro? Are you just gonna keep tackling, just keep pushing, keep doing sessions, keep creating?
You know, I'm learning every day, man. So constantly looking to expand my skill set, whether it's to do with making music or networking and whatnot. But yeah, I'm looking to just work with people abroad in the next year. Songwriting, getting involved in pop records, you know what I mean? These big records which have like loads of artists, loads of writers and producers, and it's a bit more of a, you know, it's a different kind of environment. And I've had a little taste of that already and I loved it. So more of that. Potentially another LiTek release as like myself with like a featured artist on it. I'm just gonna taking it as it comes, man. See what's right.
So do you sit in on writing sessions and stuff now? Like I've sat in on one or two before, so I kind of know how it goes. There's like 8 people on this one that I went to. Like, have you been involved in stuff like that already? Do you contribute on the writing side of stuff?
Yeah, only a couple. I think that the biggest one that experience I've had is me and YJ went to Sweden recently in like December, and that was like literally just like a 4 or 5 day in a studio over there, because Sweden's the biggest export of pop music. There's a lot of like interesting historical reasons as to why.
Mad. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, man. There's a sick book, since we're plugging books, called Songwriter. I think it's called Songwriter, but that really like just tells you why. But anyway, yeah, like it's sick, man, because we went there and there's just, you know, these people around us that have had sick cuts, man, like with Eminem, like with I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but like just big established people and like just older guys and girls, you know what I mean, who've experienced. And it was just interesting to just sit there and just literally, it wasn't me sitting there making a beat and man were writing behind me. It was just us like, let's talk about how we feel today. What's been going on?
Come on, like a counseling session.
Yeah. Like
sick,
man. And then, you know, you just get like a little chord progression down, and then we just start writing and piecing it together and shifting things around. It's a whole different method to making that type of music. Like you know, people hate on pop music, but it's actually so difficult to do well. You know what I mean?
100%, man.
Yeah.
It's too easy to just say, oh, don't fuck with pop music, but like the actual process behind it, and like to write a hit. Like, I know there's like a certain formula and certain ways to put pop songs together, but that in itself is like a different kind of skill. Hence why everybody can't get a #1 fucking hit.
Exactly, man. And to be honest with you, man, there's probably more of a formula in making rap music, in making like house music. Pop music can be, especially now, maybe back in the day, yeah, definitely there was like, you know, and there's still elements of a formula, but really now it's just about like, there's definitely just some formula that isn't really a formula. You're just trying to figure out this new formula every time that's got to be adjusted and stuff. Yeah,
I think that's the thing with music, man. Like, it's a never-ending process, in it. Like, music is just regurgitated and remixed and chopped and changed, and genres evolve, and it's just a never-ending. Like, you can never know enough about music.
Yeah,
like even when you're like 50, you'll still be taking in and learning new stuff even then. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a never-ending conveyor belt of info, man.
The exciting bit, man. That's music's moving so fast right now. It's just, you've got to be able to move with the times, man, and stay current. That's why I hope when I'm 50, I'm still as
man, I'll still be in the studio.
Yeah, 100%, man.
It's mad because when you look at the tech from, like you said before, you was using Reason. Like, what was the first Reason you used? Was it like 3.0 or something? Or
4 I jumped on.
Oh, you was on 4. I remember having 2.5, bro.
Wow, 2.5.
I'm giving my age away.
Yeah.
Like, how are you now with like all the technical aspects of it? Like, because obviously going back from Reason to the way everything is now is so more easily like integratable I feel like all the softwares are a bit more friendly. I remember trying to make beats on Cubase and that when I was a kid. I was like, now you can just, it's a lot more swifter. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of maneuver in the studio a bit easier.
Yeah. I've used everything under the sun, man. I went from like Reason. I've dabbled in Cubase only for about a week. But
it's awful.
Yeah. It was a bit mad. Cubase, Reason, FL, Logic. I've worked on Again, as you say, man. For one, all these DAWs are like a lot more user friendly nowadays. You know, back then you couldn't even use external VSTs on Reason. You just had to like whatever's there is there.
Real talk.
But and also, as we've been saying, YouTube, man, and just the internet in general, you just type in how to make a bass, how to make a Drake beat, how to make a Drake snare, let alone a Drake beat. You can dissect it to you know.
What are you using now, bro? You're Ableton, aren't you?
Yeah.
So is that your preference? Is that pretty much all your workflow is through Ableton now?
Yeah. I love Ableton, man. It's so good, man. Like, it's just
why do you think that is? Like, compared, because like you're probably the perfect person to ask. I feel like you've kind of jumped through all of the doors. Like, why was Ableton like the preference for you?
Just, you know, it can be a bit daunting at first. I think, like, to me, I didn't want to make the jump of just, but at the end of the day, it's just like learning a new software. But it's just because, you know, without getting too like technical and intricate about why it's better than another software, but like it's just easier and to do certain things. Like I record vocals in Ableton, I produce the beats in Ableton. You know, it's hard to do that in other DAWs. You know,
got you.
I've seen people record vocals in FL Studio, and it's just
for real.
Yeah, like again,
I didn't even know you could. I've never even looked into recording a vocal in FL.
Like,
mad.
My younger brother, he's dabbling in production, and he's kind of also doing the whole. He's getting into his first sessions now, but because FL Studio is all he knows, and pretty much all he can fit onto is kind of like right now not so good laptop. He's having to record vocals on FL Studio, and it's you know, yes, yeah, I don't know. It's just automation's easy on Ableton. Mixing. I don't know.
I think it's just personal preference in it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like people look
down
like
to the style of production as well. So for cutting you off, but like, yeah.
Oh, good.
I think coming from house music, a lot of house producers use a lot of the more like instrumental producers. To get me, like where it's like selection and like trap beats that like don't need vocals, like really intricate stuff.
Got you.
Or Ableton stuff. So
I could never get my head around it, bruv. Like this is what I mean about preference. Like when I look at Ableton, like I just don't take it in the same way. Like I've always been a Logic guy. I started on like Reason and stuff like that. FL for a little. I've still got FL on my Mac, to be fair. I don't really use it. But yeah, whenever like Ableton, I just never. All my DJ homies use it because it's super dope for edits. Like laying acapellas with beats, and you can do all the time stretch and everything else. Like for that, I can see how it works. But
live sets on it, bro, it's crazy. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They've done well with it, man. And also, like this year, I was lucky enough to be, you know, you fill out the little thing for the beta to be tested to be access to the beta. I was gassed, bro. I can't lie.
Did you get the early access? Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, G.
I had to gas myself up like in the little paragraph. I was like, I've done this, I've done that. I love Ableton. I've used it for years. Like, and then Sunday I got the email. I was like, that was a little moment. But yeah,
that's dope. So yo, before we go, I see you've been tapping into the Twitch. Now that I've seen you posted it on your socials, I can obviously talk about it because obviously I've kind of helped you like with the setting up and whatever else. Like, how are you finding it, man? Like, have you done a couple of streams now? I know I tapped into the first one you done, and then I seen you posted the link up, so I'm assuming it's out in the open. Like, how's Twitch been, man? Welcome to the Twitch verse, by the way.
Yeah, man, appreciate that, man, and thank you for helping me out, man.
It's all good.
It was daunting for me, like because I don't know, like for some reason in my head, like when I was watching, I was just like, wow, how a man like changing scenes and like all this chat box and like people are interacting all live. Like
it feels mad overwhelming at first, doesn't it?
Yeah. But really, it's just mad easy. But yeah, it's been good, man. Like I'm not obviously I have tweeted it, but not fully sent my link out. But I'm literally looking to do that, if not this week, but next week. But I'm enjoying building a community right now, like literally from scratch, because no one knows who I am on there. Do you know what I mean? So the people that do pop in, it's been good, man. I've been engaging them. Most like 95% follow straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like they start asking questions and that. And
it's
yeah,
a
I'm
mad
just racking
world.
up the hours.
It's just a mad world, isn't it? Like I tapped into your test on the other week, and then there was just randoms in the chat, just like, "Yo, what's going on?" And you realize, like, without even pushing it to your own following, you can tap into something completely fresh on Twitch.
Yeah, man.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah. It's like it's almost like a nostalgic feeling of like being fresh on like YouTube back in the day when I was just like and I was just on forum. Obviously, I'm not doing any of that now, but like that feeling of like going from zero again. Like, yeah, but you should it looks proper now, bro. You should pop in again. Like,
bro, when you going live again, let me know, G. I bet you can have all the 6 slides and all this going on now, innit? I bet
that's the last step that I need to do. But like I've got it now where there's no clipping on the audio, there's no lagging on the camera, there's no.
So you fixed all the little gripes, yeah?
Yeah.
Man's looking super sharp now.
Yeah. It's all good, man.
I think the Twitch is sick for producers as well, because like the producers can sometimes be the people that are a little bit like you don't really hear from them too much. So I mean, they're not like the artist is like at the forefront. They're out doing the interviews and like you can get a gist of their personality. I think like sometimes the producers can be the unsung heroes and maybe don't have a way of getting their personality out there as much. This is why I think Twitch is like amazing for people like yourself, because like you're a super cool, likable guy. So I'm like to be on Twitch and then breaking down like what you're about musically, I feel like it allows you to get an even better relationship with like your fan base, innit?
This is one of those extra things that like you've got to be doing to set yourself apart from the million other sick kids. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to be on this stuff.
There we go. That's his Twitch.
No. Why did you hear that then?
Yeah, damn right I did. Fucking well loud. No, it's all good, man. I've got a shoot in 5 minutes anyway. But before we go, give your socials a plug, man. Where can the people tap in and find you? What's going on?
So on Instagram, it's LiTek, ITSLITEK. Spotify, LiTek, obviously. Twitch.tv/it's LiTek.
Everything the same.
Yeah, basically it's LiTek. On Twitter as well, @it's LiTek. It's basically LiTek. So yeah.
It's LiTek.
Yeah, I'm on a mission to make sure everyone pronounces my name properly, because 90, I mean, let's not say 90, but a good 80% of the time, 75.
What did he say?
Bro, you should hear it. I mean,
what did he say?
The most common one is LiTek, which is fair enough.
LiTek.
Yeah, LiTek, or like.
No, because you see like high tech and then LiTek. Like, how can you?
I
can't get that wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was, I came up with a name like when I was like 14, 13 years old. So I wasn't thinking of like, right, is this going to be marketable? But,
I think the name is actually super. Why was it LiTek, by the way?
There's no particular reason, bro. Like,
because the name is lit, by the way. I think the branding is dope.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. I feel I've grown to like it myself, man, especially now that I've kind of developed it a bit. But it just derives from a Ukrainian word for pilot, I think, like litok or litak, something like that.
Okay.
But no, I don't know why, bro. Like, this was just like literally like I had like a first little song that I wanted to release in school. You know what I mean? So I couldn't just release it as my name. You know what I mean? I need it as like some like music name.
So my man went for LiTek, yeah.
Yeah, me and my uncle just had a quick convo, and for some reason, it was more of a joke, man. And then obviously, it just...
you get these sick, deep stories about people's names, but then every now and again you'll get one that's like, it felt cool at the time. But what with that, man's flying. You're flying now, bro. It's perfect timing. Yo, LiTek, man, thank you for your time, bro. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. Being our first producer and that super dope guest.
man. Thank you.
So yeah, thank you for taking your time out to chat to us. Yeah, this will be online on Monday, guys, at Talkover Pod on Instagram, Talkover Podcast on YouTube. We'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as always. You know what's going on there. Yeah, man, it's LiTek, everybody. Appreciate that, Tech. Thank you, my bro.